Hey guys, I said I was going to do a review on our 2020 Chrysler Pacifica all-wheel drive launch edition when it hit 1,000 or 100,000 kilometers, or it's at 101 something, or 61,000 miles. So here it is. We bought it November of 2020. It was built in September, and I think end of September in 2020. And it's the first model with all-wheel drive, and yeah, that's what we were looking for. And we need the space of a van because we have 4 kids now, and so yeah, that's why we purchased it. It was I think it was the second last time there was discounts on the vehicles. 2020, after 2020, the vehicle lots just cleaned right off, and there were no discounts to be found. At least I haven't seen any since. So yeah, I think we got $10,000 off of what the sticker price was at the time for the van. So now I'll go over a few of the warranty. I'll do a little bit of warranty, then maintenance, then a few repairs. Then I'll do the negatives and the positives, and then the things maybe we want to do to the van eventually. We plan on keeping this van for at least 8 years, so that's the plan. So I guess at 2,500 kilometers, when it got 2,500 kilometers on there was a misfire. So the check engine light came on and brought it to the dealer, and apparently there was a service bulletin on spark plugs. So there's a spark plug that was faulty, so they replaced them all. And then at 45,000 kilometers, the steering wheel was making a little bit of a clunk noise, so we brought her in, and it was apparently a strut mount bearing. So on top of the strut, there's a little tiny bearing on top, and I guess that must have been loose because it was making a bit of a clunk. So they replaced both those strut mount bearings, one on each side. I think it was like an hour of work or something like that, but it was all covered under warranty. It was no big deal. And then at 80,000 kilometers, at 80,000 kilometers, we could hear a little squeaking when the engine was idling or whatever. So brought her in, and the belt tensioner on the front of the engine was, I guess the idler was dry, so they just replaced that belt tensioner on warranty. And then moving on to maintenance, those are the only warranty items. I guess for maintenance wise, tires were shot at 60,000 kilometers, so had to replace them. They were completely shot. At 70,000 kilometers, we actually blew that serpentine belt on the front of the engine. So it runs the water pump, it runs alternator, and all that stuff like that. So, I limped it to town. I think I drove it 5 miles. I had to always stop, let it cool down, but I drove it until it got close to warm, and then shut it off and let it cool down just to get to the dealership, because you can't actually pull this vehicle. One thing we found out was you can't actually pull this vehicle with the engine off. I guess the all-wheel drive models, you can't do that. I know the front-wheel drive models, you can tow them with the engine off, but the all-wheel drive models, you have to either have a tow truck or that can lift the front and rear wheels, or put it on a flatbed or a trailer, I guess. So I just slowly just drove her to town, and I knew what I was doing, so wasn't too big of a deal. Yeah, and they had to replace the belt, and I figured maybe something else caused the belt to go, but they could not find anything so the belt must have just been, I guess that's part of maintenance. Maybe it was an older belt that was laying around that they put on that had been for a while or what, but yeah, the belt ripped, so they put a new belt on, and then we were on our way. And I guess at 80,000 kilometers, the rear brake pads, I had to do the rear brake pads. They are tiny little brake pads. They're not like the front. Excuse the mess. I figured I'd rinse it off and it just all froze. So yeah, great big pads in the front that are still original, and great tiny little pads in the back that have been replaced at 80,000. I drove them as long as I could. I was watching them already, and they couldn't have went a few more 1,000 kilometers. So that was about all you can get on them. And besides oil changes, that's about all I've done. I guess for repairs, we had to pay for at 75,000 kilometers, the evap module had to be done. I guess it controls the emissions from the fuel tank or whatever. Apparently it's a very complicated system. So some module, I think it was around $500 Canadian, or was that including the repair? Somewhere around there. And at 80,000 kilometers, had to replace the rear torque strut. I think it's like a motor mount somewhat in the back or something, or in the bottom. And it's different from front-wheel drive to all-wheel drive models. It is an all-wheel drive, or this torque strut was only on the all-wheel drive models, so I don't know if the other ones don't have it, or if it's just special. So I know they replaced it with a torque strut that it had a new part number, so I'm guessing it's a upgraded version. It was, the only way we could tell was when you put it in reverse, the vehicle kind of vibrated. There was a faint vibration inside the vehicle, like plastic was vibrating. It was actually quite annoying. So, and that fixed that right up. I think that that torque strut was $500 plus labor, if I'm right, Canadian. And yeah, other than the evap module and the motor or the torque strut, all we had done was we did this wheel well cover. This material stuff, it's not, I wish they would go back to plastic, to be honest. It's very, I guess what happens when it fills right up full of dirt, like we drive on lots of gravel and muddy roads, so it just filled up and it just started sagging, and then I guess the wheel had caught it and worn a hole through it in one spot. So we just got that replaced. Other than the wheel well cover, that motor mount, and that evap module, that was all that has been replaced. So I would say it's been a pretty good vehicle. Yeah, we absolutely still love it, and we would buy another one in a heartbeat. We want to get at least 200,000 kilometers on it, or 8 years, maybe 250,000. Maybe we'll go longer, but that's kind of what the game plan is with that. I really can't complain about anything else. The all-wheel drive system has been flawless. We absolutely love it. The interior has been flawless. We absolutely love that too. The seats have handled everything very well. All the tech has worked great. We love our center DVD player that all the kids can see. All the kids can see it just on long trips, or if you just need a moment to yourself, and it happens. So I'll go over a few of the negatives now of what we think about it over the last 100,000 kilometers, or 3.5 years. The low beams absolutely suck. It's like there's a line. It's like there's a line halfway up, and the light just stops. It doesn't travel over that. I guess it might be for a safety thing, maybe, so you don't shine everybody else when you're passing them. High beams, I can't really complain. Like I said, the material skid plates and wheel well covers, as far as I'm concerned, are garbage. That should all be plastic. I mean, if you're living on the highway or whatever, or in the city, it probably wouldn't be a big deal, but we're not. Oh, the ground clearance. We would love to lift this thing up. I think we want to do that yet. maybe 2.5 inches. I think there's a 2 3/4 inch lift. I feel like that might be a tiny bit high. Maybe a 1.5 to 2 inch lift would be ideal. To just to get a little bit more ground clearance for the country roads or the crappy roads that we do. Yeah. Oh, another thing, on a van, you cannot keep this back and clean it all. I don't know what it is, but it's like the dust just settles on it, and the camera is always dirty. I feel like you hardly ever can see out of it because the camera is always so dirty. Yeah. So a washer would be great on there. I know the newer Jeeps, they have a squirter on front and back all the way around. So if that was on there, that would be ideal. I think that would make a huge difference. One other thing, I guess, is this door. It had this spring-loaded piece that you press down, and it always froze up in winter. And finally, I don't know, this winter anyways, it was so frozen. One time I was at a gas station far away from home, couldn't open it. So I just shoved my hat beak in here, and I pried this open, and I broke that piece, and I took it out, and that's just it. Now I'll just open it with my fingernail because it always froze at the worst times. After you washed it in winter, yes, if it was always nice and warm, it works flawless, but it doesn't happen here on where we live in Canada. Yeah, I guess the child seat anchors could be better. And the seatbelt clips. The seatbelt clips, I guess, if these could be extended a little bit to like here, so when you put your booster seat on there, that the kids could get them a little easier. But I mean, I'm really grasping at straws here. I am really grasping at straws. So the good, I would say the all-wheel drive system works so flawlessly, and absolutely love it. It gets us out of all those sticky situations. Another good would be it just drives great, and the fuel economy, as far as we're concerned, is great also. We just did a trip to Florida and back to Canada here, and I think we averaged just over 30 miles per gallon Imperial, so whatever that comes out to for US. But I thought for an all-wheel drive minivan, we had my mom along, 4 kids, and my wife and me, and we were loaded right up. And I don't drive easy, and to still get that fuel economy, I mean, it just beats the truck all to nothing, and you can haul so much, and we just love it that way. Is there anything else? Tech has worked excellent. Love the DVD player. Stone Go options is very nice for putting all the room in. Normally we have the seat down, and I got the car seat in there. Or we have it in the hole there, so the kids can all get in, and then we can put something here, like whatever we're hauling to town, or in the back. So normally we have that down. I just cleaned it, and I still have it up. I guess future plans, like I said, we want to keep it a minimum of 8 years. Lift kit would be absolutely ideal. I think that would be great. And I wanted to do it already, but add a hitch. Haven't done that, just for small things. I know you're supposed to upgrade the rad radiator, but just so we can pull something if we need, or even if you get stuck and you can hook on a tow rope, because in the front there's a tow hook for pulling out. I guess this is a negative thing about the back, I was going to say, because there's no tow points on the rear of the vehicle. So I wanted to put a hitch on there so I could at least tow it out, or if we want to tow a little trailer sometime, we can do that. Other than that, we love it, and we would buy another one in a heartbeat. And I hope this helps you out. There should be more updates to come. I'm at 200,000 kilometers. we want to do another update and see how it's gone from there. And maybe before that, or maybe if I install the hitch or the lift kit, I'll include that in the video also, especially with the lift kit. Then I know there's been some guys that have been interested about that, how that went, and fuel economy and all that of that. So, but hope you guys have a great day, and God bless you.